first item of business this evening is a public hearing for a site plan review application, map 25, lot 4. It's for NAPA Auto Parts and Patterson Company, LLC. Sean Frank from Sebago Tech will be presenting for the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public? Oh, go ahead, Sean. I'll let you go first, and then I'll allow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Sean Frank. I'm an engineer with Sebago Technics out of Westbrook. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Patterson companies. They purchased the property. Contains a variety store, some two buildings. The proposal is for the variety store and the pumps and that type of thing to stay as it is. The two existing buildings on the eastern side of the site will be demoed. And what we're proposing is 6,000 square foot NAPA facility, auto parts facility. The front portion, approximately 2,000 feet, will be utilized for retail for people driving up and parking their cars and walking in and getting parts and those types of things. The back 4,000 square feet is more people calling in, so they'll have a couple of small cars so that they do actual deliveries. They get the call in, pick the parts out, and then do the deliveries. We'll have trucks that will come in during non-business hours for the restocking of the retail and wholesale area. What we're proposing for the driveway access is there's two existing driveways in this location here. We're going to combine those into one driveway. We have applied for and received a driveway entrance permit from the Maine Department of Transportation. There's a waiver associated with that to allow this existing driveway, as long as the variety store is the same thing going on here. Basically, the condition of that would be if this change of use comes along, more than likely we'll be closing that up. And so that we'll just utilize this for the one main access to both of the properties. We put in a new septic system back in through here. To service it, we'll have a small septic tank and a pump associated with that. Water, there's an existing well right in this location. We're going to utilize that for domestic because we don't need to sprinkle the building at this time. We have checked to make sure in terms of fire apparatus can get in and out of the driveway and around the site. Stormwater is generally coming, as you know, there's kind of a hill off the site. It comes down and through here into the wet area. The whole point of the drainage is really to maintain the existing conditions. We will have a stone drip edge along the back because the roof will be drained to that back. With an under drain to direct the water down to the wetlands, and again, everything else directed to the wetlands, basically utilizing those natural wetlands and provide treatment and attention to the water coming off of the site. We have proposed some landscaping within the frontage of the property as well as within the parking islands and along the proposed landscape strip that will now separate the two parking areas. A sign would be proposed one way from the parking lot, and the only lighting we're proposing on the building would be 5 mounted lighting wall packs that will be full cut-off fixtures. We have worked closely with town staff. We certainly appreciate their time. Met them a couple of times with the code enforcement officer and the planner and the fire chief. I think we resolved all the issues. As you may recall, we met with this board 2 weeks ago and discussed basically the same plan. There were some things left on the checklist. I think we've worked through those so that hopefully the checklist is complete. If appropriate, Mr. Chairman, we would request site plan approval from the board tonight. With that, I conclude my presentation. Mr. Karamahalis from Patterson Companies and I are here and be happy to answer any questions the board has. Thank you.
Is there a mechanism for closing that other driveway? I mean, the use changes for that building, or is it just?
Use changes for that. Actually, it is a waiver. Included waiver that will be in the registry of deeds. Once we get it from the DOT, they're waiting for it to be notarized at this point in time. Once we get it, we have 90 days to record that in the registry of deeds. So we'll go with the property and any change of use associated with that, or obviously any redevelopment associated with that.
Ownership?
Or the ownership probably more. In fact, if there's a change of use, if this use stays the same, then my anticipation would be is they don't probably have to deal with DOT stay a long time. Exactly.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's public hearing. Then we'll go to the specific issues that.
Green circle, especially that one right on the edge of the driveway, that's not a big tree, is it?
Big is a very relative term. It's,
So I thought something was gonna grow up big and block them.
that's absolutely correct. It will not grow up big to block it. It's an ornamental tree. I knew someone would start asking me trees because I'm pretty good with the engineering. I'm terrible with the landscaping. It is an RO. There's one AUF.
Oh, sorry. Well, if it's not gonna get big and.
It's a autumn blaze maple. Sounds lovely. Tell me what you can have about any time. Because Tom has a landscape background.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. We did your legacy with the plan.
It's not an evergreen.
We kind of concentrated the evergreens along here, the balsam firs, if you will, that's ride that evergreen so that we have some evergreens, but the idea really is to have more than that so the first seasons.
Are there any blueberries in that wetland?
I can't answer that, to be perfectly honest with you. It's more peat, though, but the one that's, I understand it gets pretty peaty down there, you know, pretty deep with the peat as well.
It's just so. Blueberries and fir trees don't go together.
Anybody from the public have any potential use of the town or the water districts and water, I know you said it was well on the site, but lines go by. I don't believe that the current residents utilize this town water.
They do not, that's correct. We're actually going to utilize their, at least under this scenario, we're talking basically about utilizing that existing well, because again, what we're really talking is probably 6 to 10 employees, one bathroom. These guys are on the road, up some number of them, so I'm anticipating, obviously, I hope if something happens over here that kind of maybe require us to bring a sprinkler system across. Obviously, if we sprinkle anything, then we're probably going to bring that across the point. It's on the far side, to be perfectly. If it was on the close side, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, DOT discussed with us too that they're looking at possibly in the spring paving that intersection. And so at that point, we'll have to make that decision as to whether or not we want to bring the water across the road because they're not going to want us to, cut the road later on or something. So,
I would think the cost of another curb stop or whatever the case may be.
Well, that's a good point. Obviously, if they're going to be doing it, because typically once DOT does a road, you have a 5-year moratorium.
so we got to just at that point, hopefully we'll know more about what's going on in that corner. But our anticipation now is to just continue to have, Don running the store,
Let me close the public hearing. We can get into the data. Since nobody from the public has any questions, we will close the public hearing. Well, take out of the public part where you can go. It's 7:10, so I will open the business portion of our meeting, and our first appointment is NAPA, Patterson, Properties, Patterson Company, LLC. Presentation of the NAPA. Now I have a question. How large is your building?
6,000 square feet.
And you're not required to sprinkle under the state laws with the state fire marshal?
That's correct, yes.
6,000 square feet, really?
Yes. And I believe the fire chief is in agreement with that as well. And they have discussed with the state fire marshal as well.
I thought their cutoff was 2 to 4.
No, I think it's more volume based anyway, as I recall. But again, that's really not one of my strengths in much of that area. I'll tell you right now that I really do. I go to the fire chief, and if he says you got to sprinkle it, I say, okay.
That's anybody's anyway, so. Are there any questions for us?
I guess the only one I had was I know the trucks will be coming in half hours, but it just seems like you're asking for problems. Pull up the front and have to back out and back around. I'm not sure how else you do it.
No, it has to be the other one, because this is where the actual loading door. And it's an air door, but really what they're going to be doing, they just pull right up into here. And you're right there. That's why you really would be after hours. And then just back out and then pull back out again. And again, we make sure that the movements work. Because obviously the last thing we want to do is have these guys who won't be there very long working for us. So
They're not going to pull up and back in. In other words, they will pull in, okay?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's a good clean movement getting in and out of the site.
The traffic that tie up would be their own parking lot, but it just.
And what I would anticipate is when that truck is pulling up, is what we probably have is a couple of those. Again, what they usually, you see now the smaller cars used to be little pickups with that, but now they're the smaller cars. I mean, I'm sure we'll have a couple of those powered back in through here, but again, it'll be off hours, it'll just be for the guys that are working at that point.
But always what I was looking at for traffic deliveries.
I don't know any more specific about. They told me I didn't know anything specific.
What time do you think we're looking at for tractor deliveries, for trailer deliveries?
I have no idea. NAPA can give you more detail on that, but basically they just said after hours because essentially they don't want the trucks anywhere near the site. It's just nighttime deliveries. I mean, like
After hours, is that? I mean, traffic from here till about 8 o'clock is fairly busy.
yeah, I mean it's after operation hours. In other words, after the stores close.
Right.
Is what they told me because they don't want employees around and stuff like that. The guy unloads his stuff, gets out of there. They don't want it during working hours.
And it's their model, as you can imagine. I mean, obviously they have a number of these all over the place. So they have this pretty well worked out in terms of, it's the amount of their business really is the deliveries when it comes right down to it. Having that many deliveries. I forget what the break is, 20, 80 or 30, 70, but I mean, really the majority of their business is really delivery.
Yeah, 80%. He said about 80% of the business is deliveries.
No, man, no, not that. This one here? Yeah? No, again, we want to have that little island there. We're going to pick up that for you. So, but again, there shouldn't be any issue with that. That's actually going to be on the driver's side when it's backing up. So, again, there shouldn't be any issue with it. Again, let me just put it usually when I do these turning movements, they give you these turning movements. If the turning movement works on the computer, that's a very conservative thing. I mean, these truck drivers do a hell of a lot better than I've ever seen than what you can see on these turning movements that do on computers.
It may work in the computer, but I think you're going to have to write that clear.
You see the bullets, he's good. You see the bullets from the building. So, I've been doing these things for a number of times. No, you probably wouldn't. But I guess that's really one way or the other, That's going to be the little part right there on that corner, but I kind of like that little thing. Just kind of break everything up and provide something good in terms of that corner. Because it's a pretty plain Jane building when it comes down to it. It's that typical NAPA building, so I think that kind of breaks it up, but there's still plenty of room just to kind of push this one off to the back of the parking area.
Any other questions from Mr. Meek? Tom, do you have anything like that? Patterson owns the entire parcel.
That's correct, yes.
So Patterson is responsible for some environmental legacy in this with the old
We're in the middle of kind of a lot of environmental information, but we're in the middle of the final audit, so to speak, for the bank.
Also, this so it's going to be some new baseline information, most of that you dip those wells again, and those are already enough for the analyticals at the lab. So
anybody that's been around for a number of years used to be one of the few places that anything old garage was a lot of years. You remember the pit. I remember the pit when I was a kid. I could yell at my mom. Board has received a memo from Tom and actually the unsigned application for amendments is attached to it. And if you want to take a quick look at that, you're welcome to. Third and fourth note down is the change of use for each variety of city property.
like I said, I think after that, it's an absolute waiver, and the plan actually gets recorded that last one.
There's also a brief memo from the fire chief basically saying he's reviewed the plans again and they met with his satisfaction for fire apparatus. The only issue that he has is they need to be notified when the Knox boxes are
staff has looked at this numerous occasions. I've gone through the complete checklist and all things that were outstanding have been completed, remedied. I purposely have attached the DOT entrance plan because that's probably one of the most critical pieces to this site plan. You'll notice by the four special conditions that the applicant and DOT have agreed to. It's really going to ultimately, when this site is built up, there'll be a good improvement to the turning movements. So from a planning perspective, everything has been fulfilled for site plan review, and it's ready for your review and vote. I'd like to say also that the applicant has made a real special effort to put some landscaping in there that is actually above average for what we typically see in some of our past site plans. So the applicant should be commended on that. Judy, there may be one little casualty there on the corner, but it may be worth the risk.
I think it's good for Waterboro, and I would be glad to make a motion to approve the plan as submitted.
Okay. I make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the plan as submitted.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call all in favor. Probably the easiest way you guys have to do it.
I do want to say so many thanks to the board and staff. It has actually been a pleasure working with this, and so I'm going to give it to have NAPA auto parts facilities in the town of Waterboro area.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It has been very pleasurable as easy as can be. It has been very helpful, so I appreciate it.
I hope you guys seriously consider putting in a water line. If they do tar, I would highly suggest it because the next time right here, I suspect it's going to be a lot of money.
If anything goes in that corner, they're going to run water.
And the other thing that I would ask is that you ask them to make sure they're early evening, so it's not coming up at 5 o'clock traffic.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be later. I've been in town for big bit and we've had it now, but
I believe they are later deliveries because I see that scene for the
I think it's in the last time I had minutes to previous meetings. Any reports from officers? No reports from officers. All business, there is none. Communications, there are a couple of communications. You saw the letter we forwarded to the Board of Selectmen regarding proposal for performance guarantees. And that was off, and then our other letter that we discussed at our last planning board meeting to Mr. Urson, the Board of Selectmen regarding those issues.